Walk outside, look upon the sky, close your eyes, and wish upon a star. DeRo and the Diehard are back. DeRo, you had a great weekend. You went to the Inter Miami game in Toronto. It was a 1-1 draw. How did you enjoy that? The atmosphere must have been crazy.
I like that intro.
You like the intro?
Yeah,
I thought
man.
about it last night in bed.
Damn. There you go. I like that, man. You pulled out. You had me surprised. I'm like, okay, I didn't come. You're not even prepared for an intro like that. It was great.
Off the cuff, man. Off the cuff. Our notes are our notes, but you got to go off the cuff.
Off the cuff. I'll come real rough. We'll talk about the game. There is no shame. My name is Dwayne. I lay it down simple and plain. How about that off the cuff?
What's going on?
What game we talking about?
Let's not talk about football today. Let's just go into whatever that was between the two of us here. No, Inter Miami and TFC.
Yep.
You went to that game. I mean, I saw it all over social media. Everybody was posting. It looked fantastic. The environment was great. Packed house and little cherry on top. TFC get a point out of it.
Yeah, listen, I think everybody came to see the big show.
Yep.
Right? Everybody came to see Messi, Suarez, DePaul, Busquets,
the boys.
Jordi Alba, the boys.
The boys, the crew.
And everyone came out, they started, they played. So I think from a fan perspective, you couldn't ask for more. I thought it was a well matched game for most part. I think it deservingly a job, but I can't help but, again, Sean Johnson, wow.
Yeah.
Just stood on his head once again.
Yeah.
Coming up with the big saves. Once again, doing what a goalkeeper needs to do and defending that goal, doing his best to keep the game honest.
Yep.
Because let's face it. I mean, other goalkeeper, maybe Messi is picking out those corners.
Agreed.
But just to find those little gaps. What a player Messi is. Just knowing what to do, when to do it at the right times.
Yeah.
He's the most marked player, but still finds space, finds gaps. And I keep telling for all you young kids, watch Messi. His head is on a swivel. He has a 360 degrees lens constantly on the field. He knows where players are. He knows what to do when the ball comes to him. He knows where the pressure is coming from. Man, that guy's football IQ is next level.
Yeah, and I've seen Ronaldo play in person, and it was like, this was when he was older, so it wasn't as fast, but when they get to that age, you can tell it's more like the football IQ is taking over and they're really tracking their movements to a precise level. So, what's it like seeing Messi? Can you gather a better understanding of his playing style by being there and watching him specifically?
And that's the beauty of us having MLS here in Toronto.
Exactly.
And that's the beauty of TFC is that you get to see these players right before your very eyes, right in our own backyard. You don't have to go on TV because on TV you miss a lot of the things that you don't see.
Yeah.
I'm watching the game and someone came up to me like, "Oh, DeRo, I go, listen, don't talk to me right now.
I'm in the zone.
No disrespect, but Messi's playing. I'm just watching him, watching his movement, watch how he reads the game, watch how he pulls away from the defender, watch his separation, watch him constantly observing and mentally just processing everything. And a real joy to watch, pleasure to watch. And, we're very fortunate to have the opportunity to see Messi, in this day and time in our own backyard. It's a real treat. I know tickets are very hard to come by. There wasn't an empty seat in the house. BMO was rocking. Yeah. The energy was vibrant. And let's be honest, man, these fans here, unmatched, man. Toronto FC
I
fans,
love them. Yeah.
You know what? Like, we have really nothing to play for, but everything to play for regarding our fans and our pride. Yeah. And our fans continue to remind us of that.
As much as it is a hockey town, or I guess now it's a baseball town because the Jays are doing well, it's a football town as well.
Yeah, I think Toronto kind of holds a sports city, right?
Big time. Yeah.
And we need to highlight that.
Oh yeah.
That we're not just one thing. We're not just hockey anymore.
Yeah.
Even though, I think the media and people are really trying to push that narrative. But that's never been the case. Even growing up in Scarborough and playing soccer, especially in Scarborough, we had so many thriving clubs at that time. There was clubs all over Ontario, Canada. I mean, soccer was so vibrant. So when people say it was, for me, I didn't live that experience. That wasn't my truth. Yeah. My truth was basketball, soccer, track, and so many kids being active.
Yeah.
And I think that's still fair to say even today.
Totally. No, totally. I agree. I mean, I'm just referring to, there's a lot of coverage in the media about the Leafs.
Yeah, and that's what I said, the media part.
Those guys get treated on a whole different level. I think one of their players even said like gods. And it's true to a point, despite how they do and all the criticism they get. But at the heart of it, this is, a lot of immigrants in this city. Yeah. A lot of immigrants come from countries where soccer is the main sport.
Yeah. And they embrace hockey, and that's fine.
They embrace hockey, but like when we're talking about, a game like that, I think is a good precursor to what 2026 is going to be like, pending any, additions to the stadium, and it's going to be really exciting.
MLSC, by the way, great additions to the stadium with the screens, the jumbotron.
They look good.
Oh man, beautiful.
That's
beautiful.
Yeah.
It just creates a different element.
Yeah.
I was talking to one of the ownership groups and. Someone from the ownership group, and they were telling me about the stands, and I'm just like visually seeing what it's gonna look like. World Cup, man, it's gonna be unbelievable. BMO is gonna be a true football stadium.
Well, I'm glad to hear, because the expectations are high. It's the biggest city in Canada. Like, we need to show up and show out when it comes to having the biggest sporting event there is here in our city. One more question I had for you for that Miami game, and you would know this better than pretty much anybody. I feel like a lot of young kids, when they grow up now and they're trying to play soccer and they're trying to be successful at playing the sport, many of them idolize Messi, many of them idolize Cristiano, many of them idolize Neymar. But am I right to say that they're idolizing, how did Ronaldo do this free kick? How does Messi dribble? How does Neymar do his tricks? And how does he have so much flair? Rather than like focusing on the fundamentals of the game in terms of the IQ that you're talking about, having the ability to scan around you and make the right movement and know where to run and know how to run and know where to pass. And is that something that is that prevalent in younger players trying to advance their football IQ, or are they more focused at that young age because it's the more exciting thing, the technical side?
No, they're not trained that.
Yeah,
our coaches don't train that to them. Mm-hmm. They train to dribble around cones. Mm-hmm. When a lot of these individual training programs around cones, but they're not really about football IQ.
Really?
In terms of scanning, in terms of awareness.
Surprising.
And we're in an environment that, because it's the competitive side of the game, is not really pushed to the forefront, right? And don't get me wrong, I've always said this. I think there is a place for non-competitive football.
Yeah.
And I think some parents need that, most importantly, because the parents are the downfall towards a big support of the downfall of competitive sports, particularly soccer in this country. Yeah. From U14s up, right?
What do you mean by that, though?
What do I mean by what?
In terms of the parents, like, are the down?
Well, because a lot of the parents are driving their passion and maybe they didn't make it into the kids, and they want. So, okay. We have U9 game and parents are going crazy and fighting over U9 game, a U10 game, a U11 game, U12 game. It's nonsense. Thankfully in my academy, our parents are just told, listen, stay quiet and support the kids for sure. Cheer and enjoy the moment. But when you start yelling at a kid from the sideline and telling him what to do, that is not welcome in our program. You need to go somewhere else with that. Yeah. Right? And the parents are more competitive than the kids are. The passion is driven not from the kids, but from the parents. And that's where things get a little bit, not even a little bit, that's where things get real messed up, and the environment becomes very unsettling and uneasy for the players, for the coaches, and for other people watching. But Messi and these players learn this from a very young age, right? From a very young age. I was just in Argentina a month ago, and I was at River, I was at Banfield, I was at all these academies and talking to the academy directors and what they do and what they don't do. And competition is pushed right away. Mm-hmm. Awareness is pushed right away. Understanding the game, learning the game, tactical understanding of the game, not tactical position, tactical understanding of the game. Right, where to be, when to be, how to check your shoulders, open your body square. Don't just ball watch. So all these little things that are overlooked here, they address right away, right?
Yeah.
And, that's why he's able to, those players those next level, they make the game look easy because they master the basics, right? Their first touch, they master the basics first before they worry about step or dribble and all that stuff.
Yeah.
They master the basics first, and then from there they learn when and when not to do things.
It's really interesting because it seems like, I don't know, the way I'm understanding it is like there's learning, we'll use music as an example. There's learning music and learning guitar and looking at tabs and, learning a song, but then there's the theory aspect of it. And, a lot of people just learn how to play, whatever the song may be. But the true musicians and the people who understand music are always fixated on the theory component of it. Mm-hmm. And I feel like we have that in this country with hockey. I mean, like the amount of hockey camps, the way they coach these camps, it's a fundamental understanding of the game. And it's interesting that we don't seem to take that same approach with the global sport of football, which, and as you said, there's a reason why Argentina's doing that the learning technique. It's working for them, obviously. Mm-hmm. They just won the World Cup, currently the best team in the world. So yeah, I'm not sure why this doesn't happen more. This thought, this theorized learning of the game.
Well, it's playing the game and understanding the game.
Yeah,
two different things, right? I think a lot of our coaching is so centered around scrimmages and scrimmage. It's just a scribble, where they
chaos.
It's chaos. Yeah. Where they do very specific training, focus training, individual development training. And that's where the focus is. So when they go into a game environment, they know what to do. Where us, it's like, okay, even parents, but we're looking for games. Everything's like, we're looking for games. We're looking for we're games. And it's like, you should be looking for trainings more
100%.
And individual development first and foremost. Not just any training, right? Because there's some proactive training and there's some reactive training.
Yeah.
If you teach proactive training, that's the training environment you want to be in. If you want to do reactive training, then that's passive. It's not really purposeful. It's slow. So having the right training environments focused on individual development, for me, is the most important thing.
Yeah. Well, lovely. Well, let's get right into our first topic of the day. Arsenal took on Newcastle this past weekend. They beat them with an extra time goal from Arsenal. Gabriel. Come on, you Gooners. And let's go over that match, because I got to be honest with you, I watched that game and same old Arteta tactics were coming back into play until they didn't. So, what we saw was Newcastle really was never going to have control of that game. They were never really going to have more possession. They were never really going to generate more chances. But what they did is they played their style, and it happens to be a style I love. It was a lot of counterattacking. It was a lot of taking advantage of set pieces and playing to their strengths, which was, Nick Volta made their new signing, big, tall German guy. Get the ball in the air, get it on his head, and they took the 1-0 lead. And like I said before, they're a great watch. They work hard. They play an exciting brand of football. There was a penalty controversy, but at the end of the day, Arsenal got it done, and they got it done proving me wrong in a way that there was some intention with that game.
Proving me wrong as well.
You think so?
Well,
I mean, we
the
talked
fact that we're saying Arsenal getting it done, usually we're saying it on the other side.
It's a good point.
We're giving it up in like the last 4 minutes, 5 minutes. Yeah. We're up and we get a tie. So to see Arsenal, fight and battle and compete for that win, I think not only is it a massive win for Arteta, I think it's also a huge boost of morale for the players.
Yeah.
And knowing that they can play in different styles.
Yep. Yeah.
Right. Sometimes you have to play direct, and sometimes you have to come away from that pretty tiki-taka to get to the end goal.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and there were points in that game where I saw like, all right, there's an over-reliance on set pieces with this team. That's where they generate the majority of their chances. And to be fair, they score goals from corners. Like, there's a reason why people are talking about this narrative, but there were also times in that game where I saw attacking with intention. I saw substitutions that told me what Mikel Arteta is about. Because at the end of the day, you and I can sit here for hours and talk about what this manager wants to do, and we can assume what he's thinking. But we know what their intention is when we see that 11 on the starting lineup. We know what their intention is when they bring on Odegaard and Martinelli. So I see, starting as a excellent. I've been waiting for him to get into this team. For me, that's my favorite player on that squad, and I think that he can bring them to levels that can win them the title. They're now within 2 points of Liverpool at the top, who the Reds have just lost 2 games in a row. They're at a vulnerable position. We know that their defense isn't as solidified as it should be. And I think, the narrative about Arsenal right now has flipped. They're now, in a lot of people's minds, title favorites. The only thing that troubles me is the performances of Victor Gyorgis. This is a guy they signed to bring them over the hill. It's a guy that they signed that they would hope would help them win the Premier League title. So, and in my opinion, this game, he's a big man. He's a fast guy. He can put the ball in the net. He's proved it. He didn't do anything this game. I mean, he was a ghost.
Yeah, I mean, don't forget, I mean, it's still early doors, right? I mean, it's going to take some time.
Yeah.
To some players come in, they adjust right away. Some players, it takes a little more time. And I think the attributes that he possesses are definitely going to be very important and very vital in cup play.
Eventually, I mean, it's just, for me, like, we always talk about big money signings and if they perform and if they don't. Maybe that, in terms of the striker position, our perception of how long it should take a player to adjust to a club has been ruined because Erling Haaland came in a couple of years ago and just started scoring for fun and scored, 36 goals or whatever. But for me, like, in this team, there's no reason why a reasonably fast, big, strong, clinical finisher shouldn't be at 4 or 5 games in now, shouldn't be at 4 or 5 league goals, especially with a team like Arsenal that has an abundance of attacking talent. Yeah. But there's, they win this game. They go within 2 points of first in the Premier League title. But I have another insane tactic from Mikel Arteta. All right.
You have a tactic for him.
No, I have a tactic from him that he said he's going to use.
You have one for him.
Well, if I had a tactic for Arteta, it'd be to, wake the F up. But so first, a couple months ago, maybe a month ago, he brought in professional pickpocketers to training to try and pickpocket the players to make them more aware of their surroundings. I feel like you can just teach that a different way. I don't know how you feel on that one before I go to the next one. It's unorthodox.
Is that an offside or on point?
No. Should it be? Perhaps.
Yeah,
maybe.
It should be. I like it, though, because, again, good managers, and I keep saying this, find ways to make their team win or believe in them, right? And it just creates fun. Yeah. It just creates a different element that hasn't been used. It just creates something that he's like, you know what? I'm gonna try something new. But it also shows that he's very open-minded.
Okay.
And it also shows he's adaptable. And that's very important. Yeah. And I think a lot of managers that aren't open-minded and are adaptable get stuck, right? Because whether we like it or not, times has changed. Players respond differently to different managers. Mm-hmm. Like the old school managers, when they're in your face and yell at you. Today's players, man, they'll crumble.
Well, we talked about Simeone style. Right? Like, I don't know if too many guys can handle that even.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
So for that, it just shows Arteta's willingness to evolve, to adapt, and be willing to try different things. Because after a while, let's face it, man, these guys are playing football 24/7, training 24/7. I remember our championship teams. It was sometimes when we had 2 losses, we'll come in there all discouraged, and then Frank Yallop is like, okay, we go in there and there's like no balls. Like, what are we doing? And he comes and drops baseball gloves and baseballs, or he calls guys, we're going go-karting, and and all of a sudden we go on a 4 or 5 game run.
Yeah, it's a genius. That's a genius play.
It's like those little things where sometimes it's too much game stimulation, and you need to just kind of step away and just remember why you're doing this. Hey. Just relax. It's fun. Like, your life's not in line. Yeah, maybe you're paying your job, but you can't do what you're doing if you're not loving it and not enjoying it. I won't battle for you if I don't get to know you, who you are. And those things maybe is a tactic that's beyond just of what you're seeing as pickpockets come there, but he's making it fun. The guys are laughing, they're enjoying, they're getting kicks with each other, and then they go out and they win. Yeah,
I got to be honest with you. I did not look at it like that, but that's a good point. So now, that was the more light one, all right? This one is, I'm not even going to say my opinion yet. I want you to react to this off the cup. So he is going to bring in RAF pilots to teach these guys how to communicate. And his quote is as follows. So the British fighter planes, for example, I will get in.
Brilliant.
Just wait till you hear this, though. Wait to hear it, though.
I already know where he's going with this. I'm telling you, it's brilliant.
So the British fighter planes, for example, I will get in touch with those guys, how they communicate, because that is life or death.
Right.
I'm sure they don't use 20 phrases or 20 words. If there is one word, don't say, nah, the wind is coming this way. Now you have to turn left because boom, dead. So it will be one word. So what is it? How specific can we be? How clear can we be? And bring them, the pilots, in and say, I want you to analyze our process.
You know what's funny? I just spoke to my 2015 in my academy about the same thing.
About this or communication?
Well, it's communication.
Okay.
But it goes on the same line where
Yeah.
they'll be like, yeah, yes, pass, I'm open. But that's not, there's no clear communication.
Yeah, it's true.
Like
Yeah.
to your right, to your left, you know, behind you.
Yeah.
That's clear communication.
Sure.
Yeah, yes, I'm here, open, pass. It's not like where are you? You understand what I'm saying?
I know, I get what you mean.
This, he's just, again, creating a different dynamic that's, and it's true. I mean, let's be honest. This is life or death.
It's true, but
It's
like
harsh. it's harsh, but these guys have to realize football is for a lot of these fans that 24/7 they work their behinds off to pay a ticket. We see them at TFC, cold, rain, they're out there supporting. It's like life and death for these guys. You know what I mean? So you have to understand that you have to look at the game kind of in the same light. Because
that's true.
If we don't perform, if you don't get results, my head's on the chopping blocks. Your guys' heads are on the chopping blocks. Mm-hmm. So it is in a way life and death.
You swayed me.
Are you actually dying? No, but you're dying in a sense because your team is losing. Your fans are discouraged.
And the sentiment remains the same. You don't have a lot of time in game to make these decisions, and so he wants to get his players to make them quicker and decisive communication. So you know what? You've swayed me twice in a row here. For God's sake, what a disaster!
Go on, Arteta. I love it, man. I love it.
Let's move on to our next topic. Now, I recall a week ago we sat here and we were both very confident in Real Madrid's ability to beat Atletico Madrid. That could have not been further from what happened this weekend. And I'm not talking 3-2. I'm not talking 4-2. I'm talking 5-2 to Atletico Madrid at home. They went up, then they went down and kind of lost control of the game. They scored one right before the half ended, and then the second half was completely theirs. Julian Alvarez got on the board with a penalty. Antoine Griezmann back on the board. I love to see it. He went about 23 games without scoring, which is so unlike him. But
he'll score against Madrid.
He'll score against Madrid, and he also scored. He also scored in their Champions League win. So hopefully that's prime Greasy coming back in. But my goodness, again, we couldn't have been more wrong. But what a performance from Atletico Madrid! I thought that it's similar to the way Newcastle approached this game with Arsenal. They were never going to control the ball, or at least the majority of the ball in this game. It's impossible. I mean, we read over the starting lineup before we started recording today, and it was the front three was Arda Güler, unbelievable player, Mbappe, Vinicius, and Bellingham, who speak for themselves. With that front four, you're not going to control most of the ball. It's just the way it is. You're going to be hemmed in for most of it. But when they had their chances, they took them. And on Real Madrid's point of view, there were two problems that I had. One of them is that when they were in control of the game, they were so good. They were attacking, they were convincing, they were assertive, they were creating meaningful chances. And for me, this is a Galacticos team. And what I mean by that is this is a team that when they're playing well, I want to see really cool football. I want to see the stars showing up and showing their skill in creating these beautiful goals. And that's what they did. But the problem is that only lasted for about 15 minutes and then it went away. And we saw Vinicius, we had a conversation last week. He was good and then he went non-existent again. Mm-hmm. And I'm seeing that too many times from him. And then the second issue was that how long have we, you're a Barca fan, but we can both recognize the fact that it's been, 20 years of Real Madrid having premier center backs. Cannavaro, Sergio Ramos, Pepe. We enter into this decade or this iteration of Real Madrid, and it's Dean Huijsen, who is a young, promising player and is very good, and it's Eder Militao, who is a good center back. But these aren't guys that can win you games and do the challenges and make the decisions that need to be made in the toughest of times. And I saw that insecurity in their play when it came to the balls into the box in the air. There was no control. Every single time Atletico crossed the ball into the box in the air, the aerial threat was insurmountable for this team. So we have issues here. We have Rodrigo, who's yet to start in this season. You know, Arda Güler is promising. He's a really good player, but is he better than Rodrigo? You have the problem now where you've dropped points, and Barca are now at the front of the table. Congratulations. Yeah. You know, they just flew 14 hours to Kazakhstan. They won 5-0, but that was pretty much in the bag. Vinny went scoreless again. We weren't worried about Real Madrid last week. Should we be worried about them this week?
Well, you know what I really like about this after when it's said and done? Xabi Alonso holding players accountable after.
Me too.
Saying that not good enough. Mm-hmm. You know, are you playing for the badge? You know, saying that the team couldn't string passes together. That's a manager. You know, regardless of the egos on the team. Saying at the end of the day, you guys weren't good enough. That's it. If you guys want to come to the team and look around the locker room, oh, we have this player, that player. It's not enough. It's not enough for a team of that size.
Yeah.
At home.
Agreed.
Right? So hold the players accountable, and then of course you said they go in a Champions League game and win 5-0. But here's a team that's really trying to figure out. It's difficult when you have Bellingham, Mbappe, Vinicius, and all of them want to be in the center piece, right?
Yeah.
Atletico goes up 1-0. Real Madrid responds right away with 2 goals. And instead of keeping that momentum, they went right back into comfort zone.
Yeah.
Atletico punches them in the face and just keeps going now and just keeps willing at them. And instead of them coming together as a unit, they start to fall apart. Yeah. Which, for me as a team, I'm licking my chops now because I'm looking at that saying, hey, here's a team when wounded. Look out because they could come back firing. But if you keep, you know, pressuring them, there's opportunities, especially on the attacking side. As where we see, okay, they don't have right now the world-class center backs that we're used to them seeing, as you mentioned, but they have potential center backs that are going to be quality in the near future. Mm-hmm. Xavi is playing them in that position, so I know he trusts that they are going to fulfill that expectation, right?
Yeah.
It's still the start of the season. They're doing the business in Champions League. They're getting a ton of experience. And some players are injured, right? Coming off of injuries in those positions. These players are coming in. They're stepping up. They have to fill big shoes. Xavi has some decisions to make in the league. Yes, Barca took the lead, I think, but they're only 2 points ahead.
It's a very narrow gap.
It's still very tight.
It's still really early.
But again, the body language towards the end of that second half,
I didn't like it.
It's something that you have to be concerned about.
No,
as a manager.
100% agree with you. And I recall last season when Mbappe first came in, and you had, you know, Don Carlo Ancelotti, who we know is, you know, he's Ancelotti. He's one of the best of all time, one of the greatest of all time. He spent that whole season not trying to figure out how to win, but trying to figure out how am I going to get Mbappe, Vinicius, and Rodrigo on the same playing field and flowing and scoring and producing and winning games for me. And he spent the whole season trying to figure out that equation. And I see this game, you know, again on the weekend, and I hope that Xabi Alonso isn't trying to deal with the same problem. Because quite frankly, it's an easy problem to bring up and try and solve yourself. You're the manager of Real Madrid. Look what you have at your disposal. I mean,
yeah, but I think he said the biggest key.
No, and I agree with that.
That whole interview was, we are trying to find our identity.
Yeah,
that's a big statement.
It is.
That says it all. He's saying right now, these guys are still, and I heard there's a lot of internal stuff going on, especially with Bellingham and the players.
What'd you hear?
How
spill the beans? Spill the beans, brother. Spill the beans.
How he thinks his shit don't stink.
I'm not surprised at that, right? With Jude Bellingham. No, I'm not surprised at all.
That ruffles things in the locker room. That could disrupt things in the locker room.
It will,
right?
Yeah.
It definitely will.
Yeah.
So when a gaffer like Alonso says we are trying to find our identity at a club like Real Madrid, there has to be some concern there.
I think it's major, but
like, what do you mean you're trying to fight? You're Real Madrid. Like,
you should have it.
You should have it, and the players coming in should just fall into the fold.
Hell yeah.
But the fact that you don't have an identity right now, for me, it's twofold. It's about the how the players are adapting and getting along with each other.
Yeah.
And second, are the players buying into his tactics?
Well, I think, I think they're buying into his tactics. And if they weren't, I think, we know what kind of player Xabi Alonso was. If you think anybody in that room is going to step up to him, and now he has a position of authority, I think it's nothing to do with that. I'm worried that him saying we're trying to find our identity is this cycle, like I said before, of him trying to figure out how to make that front four work instead of trying to figure out how to make the team work. Because like I said before, it's easy to get lost in that. If any of us are managing that team, we look at that front four and we're salivating. We're thinking we're going to win games 10-0. We're not going to, we can concede however many goals we want. We're just going to score more. That sort of this season Liverpool mentality. But to your point about Bellingham, his first year when he came in, he was a game breaker, world beater.
Yeah.
He was in Ballon d'Or contention. He was scoring goals left and right. He scored 2 goals in the Clasico. One of them was a screamer from like 25 yards out. And every time I watch him now, and this is not an exaggeration, all I see him do is whine. I don't see his impact on the pitch. I don't see the Bellingham that we were used to seeing when he was signed to Madrid. I see somebody who has a bad attitude, B, like you said, his doesn't stink, and C, he thinks he deserves everything. He thinks I'm Jude Bellingham. I want this. I deserve that. I'm the 10 for Real Madrid, or I'm the 5, I guess. I'm the heir apparent to Zidane. I am the guy here. So you're not, number one. It makes me angry because I have a Bellingham jersey at home. I bought it because he was an inspiring player to watch.
He was on fire,
and now I regret it because he just has this horrible attitude. And if anyone, to your point, is going to bring up a big stink in the locker room, I'm putting the house on Jude Bellingham making that error.
Yeah, disruptive environment, disruptive atmosphere. Alonso has his hands full trying to manage that and trying to find that a resolution and what fits and what. But I said it before. I have a lot of faith in him figuring it out and getting it right, even if he has to make tough decisions.
Let's move on to Chelsea versus Liverpool. It's this Saturday in the EPL action. Pretty good narratives here, especially coming out of the Liverpool side. They're only 2 points ahead of Arsenal after their recent loss versus Crystal Palace. They lost twice in a row against Galatasaray this week, 1-0. And let's look at this how it is. Liverpool, for as exciting they are, for as star-studded as they are, they have no defensive stability. Konate is coming off of, I would argue to say, maybe 4 straight appearances where he has made the same mistakes over and over again. And this time, those mistakes have costed them the win, have costed them an injury to their starting keeper, Alisson, having to come out. And Van Dijk is there, but all of their backup, like their new signing Giovanni Leone, tore his ACL in his debut. So they're really thin at the center back position. This is still Liverpool. It is still a team that we know can win a game 5-4, can win a game 10-9, or win a game 2-0. But heading into this game, I can't help but think they're not in the greatest position. They're not in the greatest shape, and they are very vulnerable right now.
I was just going to say that. Two vulnerable sides.
Absolutely.
2 very vulnerable sides. Game could go either way. Chelsea is not the Chelsea we saw at the World Cup Championships.
No.
Cole Palmer's being injured, which is obviously a fact. He's a
massive
piece of that of that team, his energy. But 2 very vulnerable sides. So it's a clash of the vulnerabilities.
Clash of the vulnerabilities.
The vulnerabilities, right? Like you mentioned, players are coming still injured, coming off injury. Liverpool's still on top though. Give credit's due. They're still in first. Tough loss to Galatasaray though. I did not see that one coming.
No, not at all.
But again, sometimes those losses could wake up a sleeping giant. and Chelsea could feel the wrath of that, or Chelsea could come in and show the Chelsea of World Club Championships. But it's painful to see these two teams in such a vulnerable state.
Yeah, and we'll stick with Liverpool for now. It feels like right now, and Jamie Carragher said this, when Klopp first got there in 2015 or 2016, whenever it was, and he was building that team that would eventually go on to win the Champions League and win the EPL title and be one of the best teams in Europe. When on their way there, they were high octane, high press, really a lot of offense and not good defense. They would win games 4-2. They would win games 5-4. That was their style. And then they got to a point where they shored up their back line and they became the team that would press the life out of you and not let you score. This feels like we've gone backwards in our evolution here. It feels like, despite having an unlimited budget, quite frankly, in the summer, despite signing players who will be able to fill in any gap you have, like they have everything they need. They've gone backwards in their playing style. And when Arne Slot was first hired, it always seemed to me like a calmer option compared to Klopp's, thunderstruck football style.
There's not a lot of managers that have Klopp style, by the way.
No, they don't.
To replace that kind of energy.
It's hard to, but he won a title off of that first season back there.
Sure,
so I'll give him his chops, but
that's what I'm saying. It's hard to replace.
Yeah. Moving on, our next game of the weekend, I would say, on Sunday, Serie A showdown: Juventus versus Milan, Bianconeri versus the Rossoneri. Juve, 4th place, 11 points, and Milan are at 12
Milaneros.
Points. Top of the league. I gotta say, man, I am so impressed with Milan.
I'm so happy.
I'm also happy.
I love
similar to Man U when they're good.
Milan sitting on top.
Me too. And how good has Luka Modric been for them?
Bro, unbelievable.
Do you know? It's funny.
Are we surprised?
No, I'm not surprised. But do you know what's surprised? The Italians are surprised. Is because they don't, they're like oohing and eyeing over Modric at 40 years old. Bro, we've been watching Modric at Real Madrid for the last decade. Like, pay attention here. He's been on the national. You know how good this guy is. He didn't just become good. But, I will say the last few years, Milan hasn't been what we recognize Milan to be. No. They won a title in 2022. They squeaked that title with 86 points in an unimpressive, Serie A season. They've not been good. They haven't spent money. They haven't really developed players other than a handful. There was this controversy about they have this youth prodigy. I don't know if you've heard of him, Francesco Camarda.
Yeah.
You heard of him? He's scored 485 goals in 89 youth matches at 14 years old. He just made his debut with Lecce on loan. He scored an equalizer in the waning minutes of that game. But it is so good to see Milan take it to the team that just won the title, Napoli, and play their style.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about, again, when I'm traveling and playing youth tournaments on the international level and seeing clubs and identifying clubs who have the talent, Milan always is up there.
Really?
In terms of developing young talent.
Yeah.
Always looking there and say, wow, they always have a solid team at the youth level. So it's no surprise that they have this young rising star that is now impressed not only at the youth level, but now pro level as well. So look out. I think he has a lot to offer.
Absolutely.
I think Zlatan speaks highly of him.
You see that post, man? That was so cool. He posted their DM. Francesco DM'd Zlatan Ibrahimovic on Instagram and then saying something like how he idolizes him and all that. And Zlatan took a screenshot of the conversation, put it on his damn feed after he scored that goal for Lecce. It was incredible.
I mean, that's Zlatan too, right?
Zlatan's a good guy. Yeah. He's like, look at me, look at what I did for this kid.
Yeah, exactly. But it's just, again, the club is doing well. Allegri has them ticking like a well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
The mentality of them are first class. They're on top of Serie A once again, and it's where Milan needs to be.
I totally agree with you.
It's where Milan needs to be. Juventus, of course, fourth place, but don't sleep on Juventus. I mean, Juventus is a strong side. They have a lot of guns, and they could upset Milan's party if they're only in fourth place, right, with 11 points. Of course, we know the last performance wasn't so good against Atlanta, and but Juventus controlled pretty much a lot of that game.
Yeah, and
pulled the jaw out.
Well, I recall us talking about a 4-4 draw with Inter Milan. So if that was a precursor to this game with the other Milan, then I think we're in to some very entertaining territory. But to your point about Allegri, before, the Milan of the last few years for me has been unorganized, not well run, not a lot of, hierarchy at that team. They brought Zlatan back, and he scored a few goals here and there, but that wasn't why he came back. He came back to get these guys in check, because if anybody's going to do it, it's going to be Zlatan. But now that Allegri is here, he's really changed the mentality of the team. And I read that there are strict rules revolving around the club regarding arrival time at the field, player-specific retreats before every match, and every dinner at the facility must be at like a big communal table to avoid cliques. So what he's trying to do, and clearly what was the issue before, is that players had their certain groups, as I imagine they sometimes do, and he wants the team to be together. And I think when you get a guy like Allegri, who, for all of his shortcomings, he is a very experienced manager. He has won titles in Serie A before. But with him coming in, and then 6-time winner of Champions League Luka Modric, Ballon d'Or winner, I think it's the perfect mix. This is a guy who will see Allegri and be like, yeah, I thought that was the standard everywhere. And then he will set that standard for the young guys and the young teammates around him.
Oh, yeah. Well done, Allegri. I think your approach to the game is needed. Not only just with Milan, but a lot of clubs around the world.
Absolutely.
I think that is such an important element to uniting the team morale. Mm-hmm. And I think what he's doing, his mentality it's old school.
It is,
right?
Old school Italian.
Yeah, but it breeds results.
Yeah.
Right. And with Luka Modric there, with Pulisic, who is now thriving under
good.
But let's be honest, Italy, you want to be successful in the Serie A, your midfield has to be solid. Mm-hmm. And if you look at all the teams, the success in the past, midfield plays a huge factor in Italian style football.
Yep.
So if you could get the middle of your midfield right, chances are you have a good chance. And I think Allegri has done that. He's focused on that in the offseason by bringing in Modric. Pulisic is now performing at his best right now after a very difficult stint with the U.S. and a lot of media criticism against him. He's put that behind him. He's focusing on his football at Milan. And like I said, it's nice to see them doing so well. Nukuku is there. Like you said, the team is a good team. Mm-hmm. Man, look out.
Yeah, and Nkuku is there. Pulisic is having a fantastic season. Rafael Leao is Rafael Leao. I mean, that guy is so skilled.
And then you have the young kid in Camarda.
Camarda. That guy, 485 goals in 89 youth matches. I mean, that should be illegal. That should be a war crime. 14 years old, he did that. 14. So what is a youth match now? Is it U17? What's the classification age for a youth match?
Youth matches can
be anything?
Anything, yeah.
But I think he was playing up. He was playing up though. So what's the max?
He started at Milan from U13s, U14s, U10s, U11s.
Okay.
Right? And threw up. I don't know when he got to the club.
I think he was there for a while, but what I'm trying to figure out is I think he was playing up. I think he was 14 playing with 18-year-olds, and he was still scoring like that. Which is, and we talked about a while ago about.
Yeah, he did play Milan at 15.
Yeah. Right? Okay. So now that's the senior club.
If he debuted at 15, that means he was playing probably
with the 19-year-olds.
U10, U11, U12.
Yeah. Okay. I see where you're at now.
13s.
But what I was going to say is we were talking about earlier about Italy not being able to develop, a big talent. I think this is their answer, right here. I mean,
well, hold on.
I hope so. I'm not saying he's going to win them a World Cup. Maybe he'll help them make one. Christ's sake.
Oh, hold on. Hopefully.
Yeah. Before we get to offside and on point, there's something we have to talk about again. God, it can't get any worse, and it can.
It can.
I literally, as you walked in here, it's not even on our sheet. I read a rumor, and actually, there's a quote from Xavi saying that he would be open to coaching Manchester United.
Really?
Yes. He said he would take the job immediately, per Fabrizio Romano. And I just want to lay a few facts to hear you. Points after 33 games, Ruben Amorim is the worst manager compared to every other post-Sir Alex Ferguson manager. 49 matches, 1.35 points per game. That's total matches. Hasn't won 2 games in a row, and he hasn't changed his formation once. I read this all before. It was easy because it was right there.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's a manager stuck in his ways.
We have to talk about this because he might be fired the next time we have a show. Like he might be gone. Depending on how this weekend goes for them against the bottom of the league, Sunderland, he might be fired. Mm-hmm. So what do you think about Xavi to Man United? I mean, that doesn't seem like a fit to me.
Well, I think it's a great way to put your name out there by not putting your name out there, right?
Yeah.
So,
true.
I mean, you going to say no to Xavi coming in?
No, but is Xavi going to say no to Man United?
No.
I mean,
I think he's making a plea that he would coach Man United. I think that's very clear indication that sack him and I'll come in.
I understand that, but like he doesn't know what he's getting into, man. He's got no idea how bad it is there.
Xavi, of course he knows what he's getting into. He if anyone could get it going, I think he can. And he brought up some very valid points.
I hope so.
Like he brought up some valid points. How are you not changing your formation?
Well, that was me that brought those up. He didn't say that.
Okay.
If he said that, there would be that'd be a beef.
Oh, I thought that's everything he said.
No. I said that. That's the facts. Those are the facts. But he would take what's important is he said he would take the job immediately. That is a quote.
Yes.
So I'm concerned that I don't know what he's getting into. I mean, he doesn't clearly know the toll. It's like going to war.
But you can't. I mean, if you look at it from his standpoint, okay, he goes into a club that's already defeated. So how worse can it get?
Yeah, that's true.
But if he goes and turns it around, he looks like a genius.
He looks like the special one.
European
for
champion.
sure.
I think I'm a special one.
Okay, last topic of the day, offside or on point with DeRo. First one. With Sergio Busquets retiring at the end of the season, we can confidently say he is the greatest defensive midfielder of all time. Offside or on point?
Yeah, so it's onside for sure. Clap him out.
Guard of honor. Nah, for real, yeah.
Fantastic. It was nice to see him play at TFC too.
I was gonna say that
nice to see his he's retiring after this year. And to see him play, at BMO and have the fans greats, to see such a legend in his last game or last few games, you couldn't ask for something better than that. So
unbelievable player, unbelievable in his day.
What a player! And again, doesn't have the athleticism.
No, not fast, not too strong.
But mentally, the athleticism is a next level.
Yeah.
Right. And I just want to say it's almost like a dying breed, especially in North America. These players that may not have the size, the strength, the pace, but their train of thought, how they see the game, their awareness, simplicity. He's the key of simple, and that's why it's been said so many times. 5v2, he's the hardest guy to get the ball off of.
Yeah.
He's never in the middle because he's plays so simple.
Yeah.
Because why? He's mastered the basics. And his head is always on a swivel as well. He knows where to play, and he just sticks to what he's good at. And he's a clean player, man.
Smooth
I would
player.
love to see when he retires what his pass percentage.
Oh, jeez. I'd love to see the percentage, if it's even a quantifiable stat, of him receiving the ball with his back to a pressing a forward and then doing the little shoulder shimmy. Mm-hmm. That was his move. I mean, he gets the ball, and then it's onto Xavi, and then it's onto Iniesta, and then it's onto Messi, and then there's a ball in the back of your net. So that definitely is onside. The next one. Chelsea will win the UEFA Champions League again before Arsenal win their very first. Offside or on point?
I think that's offside.
How so?
Wow. How can you say that? Chelsea will win. They gotta be in the finals. They gotta be there first before you.
That's the point, though. I think this.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
That's the point, but I don't see Chelsea in eighth place doing anything right now. So for me, right now, as we speak, it's offside.
Yeah.
To our Arsenal side, that's in second.
Do you think that Arsenal win the Champions League in the next 5 years? Legitimately.
I would love to think that.
Me too. I would
love to think
Wishful
that, but
thinking.
to say Chelsea will win, it's like
Chelsea will rebuild before they will get that good again. Arsenal is that good, but Chelsea are not.
Right.
I think the idea is that they will get that good, and in that time, Arsenal will still not win a Champions League. And then when Chelsea are that good, they will win it. Hence, before. Yeah. All right. And then the last one. With the new expanded format of the Champions League, Ronaldo's single season record will be broken in the next 5 years, and his total goal record will be broken within the next 10 years. So his single season goal record, he scored 17 goals in a season. That was only in, I believe, 13 matches. His total goal record is 140 goals. Messi's second, Liwa's third. Now, a little caveat here. Mbappe has scored 60 goals in 89 games. Ronaldo did 60 in 98. So if that's any hint as to what's to come, maybe in the future it might be broken. But what do you think about that? Onside or offside?
I don't know. I mean,
17 goals in a season
but with new expanded format of the USL, I mean, again, it creates more games against maybe lesser opponents, whereas back in days, the Barças, the Real Madrids, the Bayerns would have entered already at the group stage.
Yes.
And it would have filtered that out already.
Yeah.
No different than, Canada when we qualified for Qatar. I'm a firm believer. A lot of that was based off the strength is we played a lot of these smaller countries, and our team was scoring 8-0 and 7-0. We've never had that experience before.
Yeah.
But that builds a flow within the forwards. It builds your confidence. You're banging in 4 or 5 goals a game.
It's practice, yeah.
Right. Exactly. It's a competitive practice. So with this new format, I think it could definitely, for sure, someone could break that very easier than Ronaldo. But I hope that is very made clear that was done in a time where you're entering full competition.
I also totally agree with that. That's very important. Like because I think it will happen. Like you said, like there's instead of like the group.
Real Madrid just won 5-0.
and like the group stage games, they have 8 of them. Back then it was only 6.
Yeah.
And then they have, I'm pretty sure they have 1 extra knockout if they finish in that bottom 8 or the middle 8. So there's more games. So it will against inferior opposition.
Right.
So it will happen. But when it does, we need to make the distinction that, well, yeah, Cristiano scored 17 goals in a Champions League season. There wasn't 17 games.
Right.
It was 13 games.
Yep.
And let's check who he scored against.
Well, exactly.
Those 140 goals are in the old format. He never got to play in the expanded format. Right. None of these guys did.
We're entering into the group stage.
Like imagine like they would go into the group stage and they would, the way there's fewer teams, so already it would be like, I don't know, your group would be Real Madrid, Man City, and then
Bayern, whoever,
two lower guys. But right out of the round of 16, you could play Bayern Munich. You could play Atletico. You could play Liverpool. You could play anybody. Now it's like, all right, you won't exactly play Liverpool. It's never going to happen.
Well, PSG is playing Barca.
But that's in the group stage again.
Right.
So those are fine. But like when you get out of when you qualify for the knockout round, you could very well line up against a team that squeaked in, via a lucky win or a lucky result, and you could play a FC Copenhagen.
Right.
And you're like, all right, well, mop on the floor with them.
They've created more opportunities for more.
I like it, yeah.
Yeah, for more clubs in other countries to get into the Champions League and, create more of excitement in various countries who didn't stand a chance in the past.
Yeah, totally.
Format.
Yeah. Well, I mean, take it where Real Madrid went this past week. They flew 14 hours to Kazakhstan. 14 hours.
Imagine that, huh? Real Madrid coming into Kazakhstan.
the big 757 Airbus
coded.
coming in and like, what is this? Farmers are out there.
Exactly.
Beautiful little stadium though, but also the beautiful environment with the mountains in it.
Great for the people of
it's great.
Kazakhstan.
It's just great for what it is. I like that, it's imagine those players when they found out they were playing Real Madrid, the opportunity for them to be on the global stage in front of millions and millions of fans. It's
and
lovely.
it wasn't crazy. It's 5-0 is not really that bad.
Yeah, it's not that bad against Real Madrid. You expect it.
Exactly.
You expect it to happen, man.
Now, if it was like 12-0, 13-0,
then we gotta have a chat.
You know what I mean? It's 5-0 is, I want to say, fairly respectable in the sense of your.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, that's it, man. That's a quick episode. Champions League week, another lovely week of football news. Make sure to listen to the DeRo and the DieHard podcast every Friday. This episode will be out then, and we'll see you next week, man. DeRo.
All things cooking. DeRo and the DieHard. It's getting exciting. It's getting juicy, and things are heating up. Stay tuned.